1851 Victoria. Gold miners killed his entire family, mother, father, siblings, everyone. 16-year-old Jarrah was the only survivor. Now, revenge or justice? Which path was right? Victoria, Australia, 1851. The gold rush had begun. The entire world seemed gripped by gold fever. News returning from California that gold had also been found in Australia was driving people crazy. Thousands of people, diggers, miners, fortune seekers, flooded into Victoria. Previously overlooked lands suddenly gained value, and the Aboriginal people living on those lands? Suddenly, they were obstacles. Jarrah was a 16-year-old Wurrung young man. His family's tribe had lived on the same land for generations, the Ballarat region, now the epicenter of the gold rush. Beautiful country, rolling hills, deep creeks, eucalyptus forests, sacred land, full of dreamtime stories. Jarrah's family was small but tight-knit. His father Yirramboi, a strong, wise man, one of the tribe's respected elders. His mother Merri, gentle, skilled weaver, knowledge keeper. Younger sister Kalianna, 12 years old, bright smile and curious spirit. Younger brother Burnum, 8 years old, always laughing, always playing. They lived a peaceful life, hunted, gathered, maintained connection to land, sometimes traded with local settlers, possum skins for flour and tea. Tense coexistence, but manageable. Then, gold was discovered. Everything changed overnight. The first miners arrived respectfully. They asked permission to traverse the land. Yirramboi cautiously agreed. He thought cooperation was better than conflict. Let them pass, let them dig, keep the peace. But word spread. More miners came, then more. Soon, hundreds flooded the area, no longer asking permission, just taking. Digging everywhere, muddying creeks, cutting trees, disrupting hunting grounds. Yirramboi was concerned. He approached the miners' leader, a rough man named Hutchins. "You promised to respect the land. Now you're destroying everything." Hutchins shrugged. "Gold's underneath. We got rights. This is sacred land. Our ancestors are buried here. Dreamtime sites are here." "Dreamtime?" Hutchins laughed. "That's just savage superstition. This is crown land now. You're just squatting." "We've lived here thousands of years." "Not according to the law. Aboriginal land claims don't exist legally. Either move or get out of the way." Yirramboi returned to the family camp, troubled. "White man's law doesn't recognize us. To them, we're invisible." Merri worried. "Should we move? Find a safer place? This is our land. Our father's father's land. We don't abandon it. Even if it's dangerous? Especially if it's dangerous. Someone must protect the sacred sites." Weeks passed. Tension increased. The miners encroached closer to the family camp. Yirramboi repeatedly asked them to leave that specific area, a burial ground nearby, sacred waterhole, ancient ceremony site. The miners ignored him. They started digging right at the edge of the sacred area. Yirramboi confronted them. "Please, just this place. Dig anywhere else, not here." Hutchins's response was cold. "Actually, this exact spot shows the richest gold traces. We're expanding mining here. You cannot. Sacred ground. I don't care about your heathen beliefs. We're digging. Try to stop us, you'll regret it." Yirramboi stood firm. "Then I stand here. If you want to dig, you dig through me." Hutchins' eyes darkened. "That can be arranged." That night, Jarrah woke to sounds, voices, angry, drunk voices, torchlight flickering outside the bark shelters. Heart racing, he peeked outside. 6 miners, including Hutchins, all armed, rifles, pistols, knives, drunk, aggressive. "Yirramboi, come out, final warning!" His father emerged, calm but alert. "What do you want?" "You, gone, by morning. Take your family, disappear, or we make you disappear." "This is our home." "Not anymore. We claim this land. The Gold Commission gave us mining rights. You're trespassing. You can't claim what isn't yours to sell." Hutchins raised his rifle. "Last chance." Yirramboi didn't flinch. "I don't leave." What happened next? Jarrah would relive in nightmares forever. Hutchins fired. Yirramboi fell, chest wound, blood spreading. Merri screamed and rushed to her husband. Another miner shot her. She dropped instantly. Kalianna ran, terrified. She was caught, throat cut. Burnum tried to hide. He was found, shot. Jarrah froze in horror. Everything was happening so fast. Father dying, mother dead, sister, brother, blood everywhere, screaming, then silence. Terrible silence. The miners searched the camp. "Where's the boy?" There was another one. "Must have run. Find him." Jarrah's survival instinct kicked in. He silently slipped out the back of the shelter into darkness, crawled through the bush, away from torchlight. He heard miners searching, cursing, smashing the camp. Forget the kid. He'll probably die in the bush anyway. Let's finish here. He watched from his hiding spot, 50 meters away, as the miners set fire to the camp, his family's bodies burning, his entire world destroyed in minutes. Hutchins laughed. Problem solved. No witnesses, no evidence. Just a tragic accident. Natives got caught in a bushfire. They left. Jarrah remained hidden until dawn. Then he approached the smoldering camp. Nothing left. Ash, bones destroyed. His family gone. 16 years old. Alone. Family massacred. Home destroyed. Rage, grief, shock, all mixed together. What do I do? What can I do? Traditional law was clear. Blood demands blood. Eye for eye. Yirramboi's death must be avenged. But Christian missionaries had always preached forgiveness, white man's justice, rule of law. Violence breeds violence. Seek justice through proper channels. Jarrah didn't know which path to choose. His mind was numb, grief overwhelming. He wandered for days, finally reached a neighboring Aboriginal camp, distant relatives, Wurrung people 20 miles away. He told them what happened. Elder Wurrung listened gravely. This is a terrible crime. Traditional law demands retribution. But if I kill them, white law will hang me. White law already killed your family by allowing this. Do you trust their justice? I don't know what I trust anymore. Then decide, revenge or peace, action or acceptance, but choose with a clear heart. Young warrior Chilat, hot-blooded, urged action. We gather warriors, attack those miners, make them pay. Wurrung shook his head. That brings war. All our people suffer. So we do nothing? Let them massacre us? I didn't say that. Jarrah must decide his path. Jarrah thought hard. Revenge was tempting, but killing 6 miners? Impossible, alone. With a war party, it would trigger massive retaliation against all Aboriginal people. Hundreds could die. Alternative, white justice. Go to authorities, report the massacre, seek legal punishment. He decided to try the law first. If it failed, then he'd consider other options. He traveled to Ballarat, a growing mining town, found the police station, entered, first time in a white government building. Intimidating. A police sergeant looked up. What do you want, blackfella? To report a murder. My family was killed. 6 miners. I'm a witness. The sergeant's expression was dismissive. Your family? Where? 20 miles north, sacred ground site. Miners wanted the land, killed everyone. Everyone? Mother, father, sister, brother. I'm the only survivor. And you're sure it was murder? Not an accident? Natives die from disease all the time. I watch them shoot, burn the bodies, murder. The sergeant sighed. Look, son, the mining frontier is rough, conflicts happen, but accusing white men of murder? That's serious. Need evidence. I am evidence. I witnessed it. Aboriginal testimony is inadmissible in court. Legal precedent. You can't testify against white men. Jarrah's heart sank. What? Law's the law. Natives aren't considered reliable witnesses. Need white corroboration. There were no whites there, just killers and victims. Then there's no case. Sorry. Sorry? My family is dead. The sergeant's hand moved to his pistol. Control yourself. I understand you're upset, but a threatening tone won't help. I'm not threatening. I'm begging for justice. Best I can do, I'll make a note in the report. If someone investigates, maybe they'll find something. But without admissible evidence, nothing happens legally. Jarrah left the station, devastated. White law had failed him completely. Aboriginal life was worthless in their system. He returned to his relatives' camp, told them. Wurrung nodded sadly. Expected this. White justice is not for us. Jilajari was angry. See? They don't care. The only language they understand is violence. Maybe, Jarrah said quietly, but I'll try one more path. He went to the missionary station, met Reverend Thomas Brisbane, the man who'd preached forgiveness, Christian love, peaceful resolution. He explained everything. Reverend Brisbane listened, visibly disturbed. This is horrific, absolutely criminal. Those men must face justice. The police won't act. Aboriginal testimony is inadmissible. Then I'll testify. I'll corroborate your account. I'll make this a public scandal until the authorities can't ignore it. Hope flickered. You'd do that. I must. Christian duty demands it. Murder is murder, regardless of the victim's race. Reverend Brisbane went to the authorities, filed a formal complaint, demanded an investigation, created public pressure. The commissioner of Gold Fields reluctantly assigned an investigator. He went to the massacre site, examined the burned camp, found bones, bullet casings, evidence of violence. He brought Hutchins and the other miners in for questioning. Hutchins's story. The Aboriginal family died in an accidental fire. We tried to help, but it was too late. Tragic, but these things happen in the bush. The other 5 miners confirmed the story. Perfect alibi, all supporting each other. The investigators report insufficient evidence of foul play. Likely accident, case closed. Reverend Brisbane was outraged. That's a whitewash, a clear cover-up. Reverend, you weren't there. 6 witnesses say it was an accident. No contradicting evidence. What do you want me to do? Believe the surviving boy. He's Aboriginal. Can't testify legally, you know that. Then change the law. I'm an investigator, not a legislator. Case closed. Jarrah's last hope shattered, even with a white ally, even with evidence, even with public pressure. Nothing. The system was completely stacked against him. He returned to his relatives. Wurrung looked at him knowingly. Now you understand. White justice is only for whites. So what do I do? What does your heart say? Jarrah's heart said revenge, blood for blood, traditional law, but his head said, that path leads to death. His death, possibly more Aboriginal deaths in retaliation. There must be a third way. Like what? I don't know yet. He spent weeks grieving, thinking, visited the massacre site repeatedly, spoke to his father's spirit, mother's spirit, siblings' spirits, asked for guidance. One night, clarity came, not through divine vision, but through logic. Can't get legal justice, system's broken. Can't get violent revenge, causes more harm. But can expose the truth, can prevent this from happening to others, can make sure this crime is remembered, not forgotten. He started documenting everything, drew pictures of the massacre on bark, traditional Aboriginal art style, showed exactly what happened, who killed whom, named the murderers, dated it, signed it. He took the bark drawing to settlements, showed everyone, Aboriginal people, sympathetic settlers, missionaries, journalists. This is what happened. This is the truth. White law may not recognize it, but history will. The story spread. A newspaper picked it up. Aboriginal Youth's Massacre Accusation. It created controversy. Some called it savage lies. Others questioned whether perhaps there was truth in the accusations. Hutchins heard about it. He threatened Jarrah publicly. Spread these lies, boy, and you'll join your family. Jarrah didn't stop. He kept telling the story, kept showing the bark drawing, kept naming names. Hutchins and the other miners became uncomfortable. Their reputation was damaged. Some settlers refused to trade with them. Whispered accusations followed them. One miner, the youngest of the 6, McAllister, only 19, cracked under the pressure. Guilt was eating him. He went to Reverend Brisbane privately. I need to confess about the Aboriginal family. It wasn't an accident. Hutchins shot the father. We all participated, killed them all, the boys telling the truth. Reverend Brisbane, you need to testify officially. I can't. The other miners will kill me. Hutchins already threatened anyone who talks. Then what good is a confession? At least someone knows the truth. God knows, and I'm leaving. Can't live with this guilt. I wanted someone to know before I go. McAllister disappeared the next day. Left the mining region. Some said he went to Sydney. Others said he went mad with guilt. But his confession, though private, changed Reverend Brisbane's approach. He started preaching publicly about the massacre that justice forgot. Named Hutchins, named the miners, called them murderers from the pulpit. Hutchins was furious. He confronted the reverend in church. You defame me publicly. I'll sue. Truth isn't defamation. Sue me. Let's have a trial. I'll bring witnesses. What witnesses? Blacks can't testify. McAllister can, and did, to me. His confession is on record. Hutchins went pale. He realized the situation was deteriorating. He left the church, left the region within weeks. The other miners scattered too. None were formally charged, but they were effectively exiled by social pressure. Not justice, but something. Punishment without prison, revenge without violence. Jarrah felt not satisfied, not happy, but slightly less burdened. He'd done something, hadn't let the massacre be forgotten, hadn't let the killers walk away completely unbothered. Years later, Jarrah became the keeper of the massacre story. He told it to younger generations, made sure history remembered, taught them about gold rush violence, about legal injustice, about how to resist without self-destruction. He married, had children, raised them knowing the truth. White law was often unjust, but violence wasn't always the answer. Sometimes resistance means memory, means refusing to let the truth die. He taught his children traditional law. Blood demands blood, eye for eye. But he also taught them the new law he'd learned: strategic resistance, public pressure, historical record, moral witness. Your grandparents, aunt, uncle, he'd tell his children, were murdered for gold. The killers never faced trial, never went to prison, but they never found peace either. Their names are forever associated with the massacre. That's not justice, but it's not nothing. Is that enough? His daughter asked. No, but it's what we could achieve. Sometimes that's all we get. Imperfect justice is better than none at all. One day, elderly Jarrah returned to the massacre site. It was now protected as an Aboriginal heritage site. Ironically, the same sacredness whites had ignored then was now preserved by whites. A small memorial plaque had been placed by a later generation. Here, Yirramboi's family died defending sacred land, 1851. Gold rush violence. Never forget. Jarrah touched the plaque. Not enough, could never be enough, but something. Father, he whispered to the wind, I didn't get revenge, didn't get justice, but I kept the memory alive. Your deaths aren't forgotten. Does that count? The wind answered with rustling leaves. It felt like a blessing, like acceptance. Jarrah realized healing wasn't the same as justice. Closure wasn't the same as revenge. Peace wasn't the same as victory. But all were valid, all were worthy, all were forms of survival. He survived the massacre, survived grief, survived injustice, survived rage, and in surviving, kept his family's memory alive. That was his resistance. That was his justice. Not the justice he wanted, but perhaps the justice he needed. Justice that didn't create more victims. Justice that healed rather than hurt. As the sun set over the sacred land, Jarrah felt his ancestors present. Father, mother, sister, brother. Not angry, not vengeful, just there, watching, approving. I did my best, he whispered. I hope it was enough. And in that moment he felt it was, not perfect, but enough. Because sometimes in an unjust world, enough is all we can achieve. And that's okay, because we tried, we resisted, we remembered, and in remembering, we keep victims alive. We honor them, we ensure they mattered. That's justice too, a different kind, quieter, but real. Jarrah's justice.